Hey guys, thank you for joining me on Their Fight Story. I have Tom Schmitt with us, and he's been doing martial arts since the age of 5. Tom, how are you doing today?
Good. Just, raining out as usual. Wonderful times.
How are you handling this whole new phase that we're going through?
Mm, Not well.
No.
I'm not liking it at all, but it is what, I mean, how do you say this in the nicest way? No matter what you do, you can tell me you can train at home, but you can't.
Yeah.
You really can't do what they're asking you to do when it comes to any kind of martial arts training, or even, especially if you're a fighter or anything else. There's no possible way you can train at home, not with somebody in general, because if you don't take some punching back and forth, Max Holiday, God bless him, but this weekend I have a funny feeling he's going to get knocked out real quick because he hasn't taken any time to actually have any sparring sessions whatsoever. And I don't care who you are, how long we've been doing it, you still need to get punched in the face once in a while to remember. You got to remember what's going to happen to you.
Mm.
So I don't know, man. All this online stuff, it's okay if you, but how do you practice a roll? How do you practice doing a lock if you don't have somebody with you?
Do you think it's a good time for them to prepare themselves mentally or work on their cardio or things like that? Or
Well, I mean, you can work on all the cardio in the world. I mean, mental conditioning is a totally different thing. In mental conditioning, some people can actually do it themselves. You're right. I mean, I was a child when I learned how to start doing the mental conditioning, but now with a lot of the people that I just put out last night, the video about mental conditioning and mental training, and it's total opposite. If you don't, you got to have a heart and you got to have a mind to mix together, and that's what makes it so important. It's hard to bring heart and mind together without somebody forcing it to you. In other words, not forcing it, but bringing it out of you.
Mhm.
Sometimes at first, when you start getting into it, you got to learn how to process the whole thing and understand that this is pushing this is pushing this. You understand? You got the heart pushing the mind, the mind's pushing the body. And when it comes to that last, you think you only got one round left, but you really got six, really, because here and here has six in it.
Mhm.
You don't give up. You just keep going. And when you finally push past those limits the first few times, it takes time to understand and then say, wow, I can do this. I can do this again. And you start gritting your teeth and doing it. But it's hard to do it on your own because you really don't have anything to push you. Who's going to push this? Who's going to push my heart? And who's going to push my mind? I mean, I know how to do it. It takes a lot to do it, is what I'm trying to say.
So do you think people who are trained in martial arts are able to do it versus the people who are just doing mixed martial arts?
Hmm. uh, how do you say this in the best way? I think that, and well, it's trying to be nice with it, I mean, but lately I haven't been very nice, I guess. Uh, it's hard because right now, the other day, we were just comparing, not just myself. I mean, I'll give you a prime example. Myself, Diego Alves, we're on the phone. He's the same as I am. He'll bite through a goddamn wall just to get to what he has to.
Mm-hmm.
And I would too. And people that I've worked with in normal jobs and athletes from football on down, they'll tell you it's almost like my eyes turn backwards and they're not seeing the same person when the time comes.
Mm-hmm.
But that's because you're in your mode now. You're pushing yourself and you're pushing to the limits. And I don't see it in a lot of people anymore. I see them going through basics. It's one thing to go in and take martial arts class every day and come back and say, got my brown belt. Yeah. Okay. Do you remember your katas from the white belt on? Do you remember anything from back then? Most guys will tell you no, because they really don't. It didn't get ingrained. It wasn't something they just wanted to keep pushing forward. Most people, not just guys. So it's tough. I mean, do I think they're more mentally stable? It depends on your discipline.
Yes.
If you're disciplined and you're here in your mind, you can discipline, then yes, I think you're a lot more. You have a lot better chance of doing mental capacity and mental conditioning and training.
Okay.
That's the best way to put it.
Yes.
Do I think mixed martial artists? I think most of the guys in mixed martial arts have had to learn one or the other first.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them have touched base on certain things. Very few people ever very few people are very well rounded. They just tend to want to do one or the other. So no, I don't know. What can I tell you? But
okay,
it's an individual basis.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Now your last fight was in September of. No, I'm sorry. Your next fight is in September. Your last fight was in 2010 in Panama.
Panama City, Panama. I fought Machado, and he pretty well dominated the fight, and pretty well beat me up. But you know what? You take a fight on a 1 week notice, and you don't train for 2.5 months, it'll teach you a lesson. Because see, I actually had that bravado in me, thinking, well, it's not that hard, man. I'm all right. I'll make weight. I thought, you know what? You're still the Billy Badass. Well, you get a hand to your first loss, and you come back with a couple lumps on your head, and your jaw like this. You learn quick. You learn the lesson that you need to learn. You know, and that's why I say this weekend when I'm thinking of Max, I'm really scared for him because he may come back lumped up too.
What was the lesson you learned in your fight?
Make sure I'm prepared. 100% be prepared. Most people were never prepared 100%, and that's where the problem lies. Now this time, you know what? The good thing about the older you get, the funny people laugh. They think, well, oh yeah, they need to retire. Next time I hear someone tell them they need to retire 30-something years old, I'm gonna laugh at them because most of the guys nowadays, most of the guys, girls, everyone are going down and having stem cells done in Colombia, and I even know the place because I even have all the videos. I mean, the guy sends them to me trying to get everyone coming down there. They're all rejuvenated. Mm-hmm. You could say you got right now. If Liddell wanted to come out and fight right now, he should be almost like he's 20 years old right now. Mm-hmm. So the older that you get, the only thing that happens to you guys, so you understand this, and the young bucks will learn this as you go. You learn how to train smart. We can train less time in a smarter fashion and not take those and push those injuries we used to have out of the way and be able to get into the fight and actually last with you all day long without having to push the extra conditioning as other people do. So preparation is definitely the key to everything. Actually, you know what? Preparation is more important than knowing who you're fighting actually. Mm-hmm. Because if you're a true fighter, it doesn't matter who you're fighting. Mm-hmm. You'll have an idea what you need to do, and you need to do it. It's the only sport where you're the only person out there. You have a corner telling you what's going on and trying to see for you what you can't see because you're on top of it and you're in the middle of it. But it's not like football where I got two other guys next to me. I can say, hey, make sure you cover this if I can't cover it. Mm-hmm. That's not going to happen. So if I get thrown down, it's on me.
Yeah. Now, when you went to Panama, did you have your corner with you, or did you have people cornering you over there?
Oh, that's the worst thing that ever happens to you. It was in October of all times, and everybody was not able to just take off within a week's notice. Mm-hmm. So when I told everybody, I got the call, and I didn't tell anybody until the next day, and I was already getting my passport in D.C. Actually, I got a passport in 4 hours. And they were pissed because not one of them either they didn't have their passport updated or they weren't able to leave because they have kids. And I ended up down there with no corner and ended up using a corner from in Panama. And thank God he at least spoke partial English.
No, that's what I was going to ask. The language barrier.
You know, I understand Spanish. It's just it's easier when you're dealing with someone you're used to dealing with. Yeah. You know, I just cornered a couple fights in Florida for fighters because they didn't have anybody down there, and you got to be, you try to help them as much as you can. Yeah. But people get used to each other sometimes. Right now I'm looking for a really good trainer, coach, whatever, because I'm already through the other guys now. I got to find someone else. It's time to. If you don't go through different ones during your time period, you won't learn anything new.
Yeah. Do you think your corner not being there affected your performance?
I think it affected it maybe maybe 20%.
Okay.
But not an overall. I don't think the overall outcome could have changed unless I would have found a way to make one thing at least land the right way. It's just, you know, you're talking about someone who's training for a fight for 3 months, and then you're not training at all. His opponent gets knocked out. I forget what happened to him. He got hurt or something, and they call you within a week's notice, and you're already on the plane the next morning. That's, you know, it's pretty quick. So he was ready for it, and I wasn't.
Okay.
I don't take nothing away from him. The guy that has a hell of a career going. Well, I'd love to see him again one day. We talked about it.
Yeah.
You know, so Brazilian guys are tough, man.
So what happened when you got back?
Well, let's see. First I came back, I was with Big John and his wife, because that's who ref my fight. And he's in all the UFC fights. Most of you guys know him. He laughed at me because they pulled me out in Newark for the customs, and they thought I got beat up down there. I must have thought I was in a drug deal, robbed somebody. And then the lady looked inside and saw the poster and the wet clothes, and they let me go, and I left there. But I got back to Phoenix the next morning, and it wasn't even that next day. I was walking across from the Whole Foods and literally got run over by a car. Literally at probably about 45, 50 miles an hour. Flipped over the car, landed on my head, and that's the last I remember until I was in the ambulance. And then I guess they told me twice in there, I died in the ambulance, literally, on the way to the hospital. So that's 2 times. 2 times you're dead. I guess I'll wait for the third, but I made it through that and ended up with multiple injuries and spent the last 8 years trying to get rid of everything until I was ready to come back. So now it's exactly what I did. September's the date, unless something of great happenings happens, which I hope it doesn't. Then September, it will be September 25th. Hopefully. I know they closed Miami down yesterday, but we'll see. I didn't hear anything about it yet.
How long was your recovery from the accident?
Recovery was up until 1.5 years, 2 years ago. And actually, the sad part about it was when you're hurt like that, and they tell you can't go to the gym, you can't do anything, and they've got you convinced of this shit, and they put this pump in my system, and because I wouldn't take the pain medication, I hate it. It sucks. It really does, because you lose everything. I stopped watching the fights. I stopped watching everything. I didn't even watch football. That was the sad part. And then I started being controlled by the wrong people, and it doesn't work, you know. And then you work other jobs, which I say real job. I mean, can't say a real job, but I have 3 degrees, so I was actually hired as an executive situation, and I actually trained executives and then books for multiple corporations and just crazy stuff that would drive you bananas. But even though you're working, you do the best you can at that. So it's like you're always driving yourself.
Yeah.
I couldn't work less than 12 hours. It was crazy. But you know what? Good things all come, and you can get rid of these injuries. You push them out. You do the best you can. Last one, that thing got cut out of my system 1.5 years ago. They told me 3 weeks. It took about 8 months for it to heal. So got infections, got everything. But now I'm healed, and I'm pushing twice a day now. I'm trying to go to 3 times a day, but I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to train at, because every time I turn around, another city's closing down.
Yeah.
You know, you got California, which is crazy right now. Phoenix just closed everything, and now Miami closed everything, and that's where I had things going on. I mean, the last 2 places left were Texas and New Mexico. So hopefully it'll work.
Where are you training now?
Actually, I've been training up in New York, but most of these places up here, because I wanted to make sure my family was okay. My mother's the last one left. It'll be the last time I probably see her, knowing her. And then I had to sign some papers up here for some housing things. And I wanted to get it out of the way. And then I was supposed to head to Miami this morning. And they closed down yesterday. So tomorrow I'm going to talk to 2 different people. I talked to somebody in Texas. I might go there, San Antonio, and train. And if not there, it'll probably be New Mexico for sure.
Okay.
Unless they close there too. This sucks because we're all running around. Every one of us are running around trying to figure out where we're going to train. Half of us.
Yeah.
It's funny because, listen, I still coach. I'm still doing the striking thing for ATT for Fort Lauderdale, Orlando, and then out St. Pete. They finally closed it down, but it's crazy because nobody wants to open the doors, even if you have the keys. And some of the places, I mean, other places are a little different. That's why I'm trying to do my own right now, because I prefer to just go ahead and open my doors like I did before when I was in Houston and just walk in my gym and it's in my house. No one can tell me what to do.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy because now, look, you guys when's the last time y'all were able to go to a fight? I haven't seen press anywhere.
Last time for me was January. I was going to be going in March, and the day that we were going to go, it was like, nope, sorry, it got canceled. So it's like all the fighters were training. They didn't know until the weigh-ins, last minute weigh-ins.
Are you talking about Bellator? They were already weighed in and ready to go to the 4 kids. I would have been pissed. Yeah. I said, I'm fighting, man. I'm done. I'm in. I said, let's do it in the locker room where they can't see us. I mean, somebody ding the bell. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, and I hate to say this, I mean, because too many people think it's for real. I don't buy this stuff. I'm sorry. And I think it's a shame because it could ruin America very easily. So it's the first time we've ever, in our lifetime, ever been told we can't go to Eastern Europe right now. Mm-hmm. We're the only country not allowed in. That's kind of weird. Yeah. You know, China and everyone is going in, and they're the ones that it started from. And I don't know. Every time I think about it, I'm like, eh.
We have to focus. You need to focus on your fight that's coming up in September.
Right.
Mentally, physically, emotionally, get everything together because you haven't been fighting for what, 7 years? 8?
8.5, 9, 8.5.
You
almost.
have to really focus, and you can't allow anything to really mess it up.
It's tough. You're right. It's 100%. You got to focus. And if you have negative around you at all given moments, it's just a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
So you try to rid yourself of all the negativity you can, but it just it'll follow you eventually.
It will. And I mean, you've worked so hard recovering and healing. You can't allow some negativity to mess you up. Weren't you just recovering from an infection?
Oh, yeah. From the mask.
Yeah.
Because I went to 3 different countries. I've been in Panama because I was thinking about fighting over there again, and they're kind of held up at the moment too, just for a short time though, not like us. And then I was in Mexico for the same thing, but also at the same time I wanted to see a doctor that fixed me. And then I come back here. That's 3 countries in 9 states. I end up in Chicago with an infection in my face because I shaved, and the breathing and all the dirt and that got into my face and gave me an infection worse than any damn flu. Mm-hmm. All right, I'm in the hospital for 12 days over that. I got a scar finally. I never had a scar on my face in my life. Now I got one. Right on my chin. Big one too. I'm like, are you kidding me? I made it through football. I made it through here. Now I got a scar from an infection. Yeah, but it's a shame because that mask will kill you the same. So what is the right answer? There's no right answer.
Stay calm, stay focused, and keep moving forward. That's all we can do.
That's what we're doing.
We don't have a choice, but
everybody's doing. What choice do you have? It's either that or you give up, or I don't know, man. Sweden looks kind of cool, but they won't let us in. I mean, I'd go over there because they didn't do anything. You know, and then I guess I just had 2 friends who were in Missouri. They're moving down there because they said that they were in the casinos having a good time. It's like they said it's the Twilight Zone.
Oh, really?
Nobody there. It's like it never happened. There's no mask. There's nobody talking about it. Everybody's at the casino. Everybody's eating. Everybody's hanging out. You know, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Some places are like that. You're like, another friend of mine's in Boise, Idaho. He's like, Bob, I don't even know what you're talking about with a mask.
Wow.
I said, okay. But then here's one to scare you guys. As of Monday, United and American Airlines said they are no longer they're not following the orders. They're going to start packing the planes completely. Last one I was on, it only had 4 open seats. Now, if we're doing social distancing like they were supposed to, and all that, you're sitting on top of each other.
Mm-hmm.
Where is it? I mean, how is it that they're okay to do it, but the rest of the world's not? That's why it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
You know, and the airplane, they don't care. They just want their money.
Exactly.
And the tickets they're so ridiculous. Right now, one-way fares are more expensive than they ever were.
Yeah, they're trying to make up for everything.
Right now, this weekend should be fun because the guys over on Fight Island are having a good time.
That should be a good weekend. What do you think is what do you predict this weekend?
You know, I love the one. I love Usman and Masvidal because I've known both of them for a little while. Good people, both on the same team I am, but that ought to be fun. That ought to be a really interesting one. I wouldn't even beg to call that right now because both have a reason to prove something.
Yeah.
And they actually know how to fight. One's a little bit better boxer than anything. The other one's a little better on the ground, but hey, you know what? They actually know each other too. They've trained together a little bit, so that ought to be interesting. But I got a bad feeling for Max because when he said he wasn't sparring and didn't do anything, came out of Hawaii and didn't get a chance to really train, I'm like, oh shit, I don't know if I'd do that because I remember how I felt. I felt terrible when I got beat up. So the rest of it, most of the girls, I can't even pick either one of them. Yeah. I try not to pick the fighters. You know why? Because you're backing all of them. If you're smart, you're just going to back everybody out there. You're supposed to, you know, be on everybody's side. You're not supposed to be favoriting people.
Yeah.
Or athletes. That's like me saying, okay, well, if I'm not favoriting, you know, New England where I played first or Baltimore, I'm going to favorite the Falcons. No, that's just crazy. You know, it's kind of. I'm happy for everybody. I wish everybody could win. But it never happens that way. Got to have one winner, one loser.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the sad part. The fun of it, the training and having a good time. And
yeah.
It's fun. It can be fun.
Yeah. The training and executing everything that they've been training and putting together in one night, 15 minutes, whatever they have scheduled.
Exactly. But they don't normally, they have 15 minutes. And you never want to take the fight all 15 minutes, though.
Oh, no.
Never give it to the judges. Just giving it to 3 blind mice. I don't know which one do you think. Hey, I don't know, Harry. Did you see anything? No, I didn't see nothing either, man. Okay. I want to go with the one guy on the left. Okay, I think he's really not on the left. It's over there. I mean, they're like 3 blind mice. I've seen fights that shouldn't do. I shake my head. Are you kidding me? What were you seeing that I didn't see? Okay. The last fight, the last really, really, really good fight was the 2 females, Joanne, which is part of the Joanne Jaworski, and I can't think of what's her name. How do you say the Chinese girl's name? Mm-hmm. I can't say it right, but those 2 beat the living hell out of each other. Both their heads were deformed almost. I mean, that was a hell of a fight. I still picked it the opposite direction they did, but that's probably because she's a friend of mine. She's a nice girl, and she really.
I thought we were picking favorites.
No, only on that one because I was watching that fight very closely. That's the only time I'd have probably scored it differently. Yeah. No, wait, I take that back. I would have scored Diaz differently too on Jones. But you know, that's not because I don't like John. I don't like Ruiz. I'm sorry, I would have never put Ruiz first, but he did a hell of a job.
Yeah.
You know, what do you think about Tyson fighting again?
I'm looking forward to it. I really hope he does do it. I really do. Whether it's going to happen, I'm not sure, but I mean, I feel sorry for the person that goes in.
Oh, dear Lord, have mercy.
With him. I'm really looking forward to it if it happens, but I don't know.
Listen, I watched his mechanics the other day.
Yeah.
And now he's calmed down. He actually knows what he's throwing. He's doing it with a nice control. I said, are you kidding me? Did you see it? I'm like, holy hell. And he's another one that went down and did the stem cells and whatnot in Bogota. So he's rejuvenated. He's 150%. He's brand new. And I know there's no taking back. The way he used to get hit, you can't. He'll never change him. He likes being hit.
Yeah, I don't like getting hit.
I don't mind being hit. I might get him. I don't mind, but it's kind of funny because he enjoys it.
Yeah, that's scary.
So God forbid, man, that's scary. You start hitting him, he's like, eh. He still has that goofy ass grin on his face. He's scary.
Yeah.
He really is, man. Yeah, I don't know these guys all jumping out there saying, yeah, I'll take him a bare knuckle. Oh, I don't think you want to do that.
Exactly. I agree with you right there. Yeah.
I don't think that's a good idea. I mean, I know you want to make a name, but that's not the way to do it.
Yeah, I don't see a good outcome out of that one. Tom, what would you like to share with everybody before we wrap up? Is there any advice as far as focusing on training or recovering after traumatic?
There's a ton of stuff with recovery. There's a ton of stuff with training, guys. Listen, I don't care who you are, what you are. I don't care how you come about. You can take a record and you can throw it in the garbage for all I care. What you need to do is focus on who you are and what you can do at that given moment. Guys, I've seen guys accumulate terrible records, and I've seen guys accumulate great records. And and then you have to go back and look at certain things, and I'm not going to get into all that. All I'm going to tell you is make sure you're focused on what you're doing and you do it. You know, don't worry about someone's record and what they've done. Worry about what you can do at that given moment and how you can get it done. Training wise, I see this in almost everybody lately, and I'd love to start training guys soon because that's going to be my next thing is to train people and coach them as well as manage them. Because I think there's a whole new idea out there that can happen. Mm-hmm. And these guys need to get sponsored. They need to have people behind them to show them that they care. And I don't think that I'll say it straight out, I don't think the UFC gives them anything worth of shit. I've been there. I didn't get crap off them. Mm-hmm. I got more money fighting overseas than I ever did. So, fighting real bare knuckle before they even had bare knuckle was a different story. He made a whole lot of money that way. And Tijuana, that was the best. Guys, when you're recovering, you got to do real recovery. If you're sore and you feel like you're sore, man, get an ice bath. If you don't have if you don't believe in the cryo tanks, you know what? Ice works real well in your bathtub. They sell tubs now for almost nothing, $60. It's a huge tub. Get in it. There's herbs they sell from Russia as well as Thailand that they used to use hundreds of years ago. You put in the ice, and it actually it'll actually draw the blood out of to the top of your skin, and it actually pulls it out. That's what people used to do. That's why they, warriors and all those people that used to get cut up in that. Next day, they didn't have hardly any cuts. Mm-hmm. It's like a miracle type thing. And I mean, I've used it before multiple times. But be prepared for whatever you're going to do. Don't get in there half-ass it and just because you want to get into a fight. Make sure you got, the right tools ready to go and be ready. And as for trainers and coaches, stop training them the wrong way, man. Train them for who they're going to be. You know what? I mean, how do you say this? But don't let the adversity hit you either. Listen, I was out for 8 years, guys. And, if I hear one more person tell me, oh, you need to retire, I'm going to laugh at them. Because that 8 years, as well as the training type of training I did beforehand, I run in the water. I don't run normally without being in the water. Mm-hmm. So my knees take a lot more than most because I'm not pounding them on a continual basis. Yeah. I learned to watch your back and what to do and how to stretch it and whatnot, or I wouldn't be where I'm at. I mean, I wouldn't have been able to trademark the workouts and train in the things I did without understanding how to get to that point. That's why you could be 55 years old. You could be 60 and still doing this if you know what the hell you're doing. Yeah. Guys, don't give up and don't ever let age bother you. And if people bother you about it, you know what? Just tell them age is just a number. Yeah. So, I don't know what else to tell these people because other than train, enjoy yourself, and if you get a chance to do this, do it. If you want to do it. Yeah. Don't do it because other people want you to do it. Awesome. And if you think you're getting rich, maybe you might, but maybe not. So it might be a while before everybody starts getting rich off being in MMA. It's taken what? Since the first fights, they were paying anywhere from 500 to 1,000. It's up to what? 5,000, 10,000, 20, unless you're overseas, anywhere from 15 to 70. I mean, it's a big difference now, you know. Boxing, you can turn around and make yourself a boxing career, get paid 100 grand on the first fight. So, I mean, and it's still combat sports, guys. If you find out you're a good boxer and you like it, I'd do it. Seems like females do better in MMA. They get paid better. Female boxers don't get paid as much. Anyway, I know I'm always off the record. I mean, my mind is in another world sometimes.
You're okay. You're ready to train. That's what you're ready. You're like, okay, let's get off because I have to go train. Find a place to train.
You know what? The bad part is that tonight's training is, well, nobody will be there. That's why it's easy. I mean, I'm just going to slap some extra pads I got from the companies that gave them to me on the wall and start pounding the pads on the wall. I mean, it's to that point. That's why, we have that place opening, but what I put in there were, I don't know if you've ever seen them, but they've got all different pads on them, okay? And kick pads as well. Yeah. You can actually adjust them. Mm-hmm. And they have 42 different places you can punch. And with the kick pad, of course, you only got one place to kick in the front of you. You can move around to the side, of course, but these things are there for a reason, because that way, if somebody's not there at the gym and you don't need somebody, you don't have a trainer with you, you can train. It's right there in front of you. When I trained on these things in Mexico, it was amazing because I'm like, what the hell? I don't even need somebody with me. Mm-hmm. This is great. I can just pop up here at any time I want. Put 10 rounds in. Mm-hmm. They're called box masters or something like that. It's kind of crazy, but they work. So anyway, off the record again, here I am. You got that fly?
Yeah, I was trying not to, but it was like.
Catch it. Listen, don't forget, grasshopper. Catch it and eat it.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
My dog will do that. My dog will catch it and eat the damn thing. I'm like, holy shit.
No, I'm good, thank you. I'll get my protein somewhere else. We're good.
Oh man, that's the best. You didn't know that?
That's okay. I'll leave it for somebody else.
You gotta go down to South America. Get you some chocolate covered ants.
No, thank you.
Grasshoppers.
For everybody else. Yeah. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.